Go. Big baby, it's just you and I
Yeah,
this week. It's this was a rough week to take, man. I you know, I figure the Thunder game was going to be an L, but I didn't think it was going to be an embarrassment. You know, from the start.
I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were gonna lose, but I thought we lose by maybe like 7 or 8, something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Not 30 something or
They
whatever.
were down 14 for the first quarter was over, man. I'm like, well, more than that actually, but at the end of the first quarter, it was down 14. I'm like, oh my goodness. And just even no shots being made. Uh, just I don't know what that game was about. And I didn't like the end of game commentary neither, but that's here nor there, you know. But yeah, that was a shocker. That was a shocker. But oddly enough, you know, they like I was chatting with you earlier. I think Brunson really likes putting it in today.
I love it. I love it.
I'm like, as much as I, I'm not a big fan of him playing this way with this team. I understand playing this way against him because he's been killing him since he's been with the Bucks.
I love it. I just I cannot stand Lillard.
My goodness.
So if if you score every point you score against him, I love it.
hmm I was like, oh goodness. Oof. That was something to hold right there. And we've played them twice and blown them out twice. So, that's
Yeah,
a pretty good on our part. I think even last year we was even on the plus with them as well. So even if we face them in the playoffs, I have no doubts that that's a team that we will do well against.
yeah. They don't they don't have no chance against you know they well, first of all, they play no defense
hmm
except for Giannis, and Giannis plays that that
He's,
type
he
of
that help. He's more of a
help
help
defense,
help
right? More of
defense.
a help defender
hmm hmm
than a shutdown defender.
hmm
Um, Other than that, I don't know what Doc have them doing over there.
hmm
You know, um, so but if you look at OKC defense is just
Plus, they're long. Like I said the last
oh
time,
my
they're
goodness.
long. They are long.
It's like playing trees.
hmm
I'm like, what these guys these tree limbs for arms. I'm like, get
hmm
out of here, man.
You
You
know.
know, but so I can see why they have a problem with OKC. And not only
hmm
that, but
hmm
OKC is one of those teams that they can play either way. They can play fast or they can play slow.
Yeah, because they play slow. That plays right to Shea. He
Exactly.
plays a slow game and he can pick you apart
Exactly.
with that slow game, man. So.
Exactly. So you slow
hmm
him down, you fall right, you
hmm
fall right into his game,
hmm
so but today they just took it to Milwaukee.
hmm
Um so they were 1-2.
No, 2-2. So let me go right to it. They were two and
So
two.
this one, what was the first game of the four?
First game was they lost against Orlando
Oh, that's
that
right.
Monday. hmm
I couldn't remember that one. That's one I couldn't
Yeah,
remember.
that Monday.
Yeah, I didn't see that game.
Mhm. Yeah, that Monday,
I
and
didn't
then
see that game.
mhm. Yeah, that was a
I
rough game to
remember,
watch too.
excuse me, I remember that Monday I wasn't feeling too good.
Hmm.
That Sunday and also then Monday was both tough days for
Hmm.
me.
Right, right.
So I didn't see that game.
Hmm. Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled about how they played on that game against them. It was like they still was in a fog, and Orlando, they were intent on making sure they weren't going to get swept for the season. You know, because they had already beat them 3 times straight already, and Orlando made sure like, hey, we're not gonna fall for the okey doke, you know. But yeah, I'm happy with the results at the end of the day, and not the loss, but the fact that they was able to wake up the next game against Toronto and do what they're supposed to do. One thing in the past 2 games that's been a little disappointing. Uh, Bridges in that Thunder game, he had a straight offer on the free throws, on the 3-pointers, and on the just
Yeah.
the overall 2 points. And I was kind of surprised, and I was like, I didn't
Yeah,
understand that from him, you know.
yeah, well, sometimes it happens.
Hmm.
You just don't
Hmm.
score.
Hmm. But then he
Yeah.
had another lackluster game today.
Yeah. What he
And
had
I'm
like
not,
5 points today.
yeah, and that came only at the end. He was still over for a good portion of the game. And I don't know what that was about, but you know.
As good as he and OG are
Hmm.
defensively, and there's no
Hmm.
doubt they're great defensively.
Hmm.
They both are very
Sporadic seems.
inconsistent
Hmm.
um offensively.
Hmm.
They both can give you 31 night and then three the
Hmm.
next night.
Hmm.
You know, they need a third scorer.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, they need a third scorer that's going to give you 15 to 20 every night, or at least
Hmm.
be a threat to that
Hmm.
every
I
night.
agree. I agree. 'Cause that's coming off the bench too. It's funny, as much as we didn't like the performance in the regular season last year with Burks, he played well in the playoffs, and that's what we actually need. That's the guy who puts in 10 to 15 points a night just coming off the bench. He's gonna give you
Yeah,
that. But unfortunately, uh, he knew what if he would have signed that he was going to be in a situation where he was going to get dealt this year. I'm sure he didn't want that. So I understand his reasoning behind it overall.
I still would love to see them make a deal with Houston and try to get um God, I had his head. I had his name in my head, and they just want to. Oh my goodness, the forward. Uh,
Which guy are you talking about? Jabari?
huh?
Jabari?
Yeah, Jabari.
Oh,
I
he's
would
hurt
like.
right
I
now
would, I
too.
would like them to see if they can pull something to get him.
Yeah, he's hurt right now too.
Huh?
He's hurt right now too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Good player,
yeah,
young, very
yeah,
lanky.
yeah. But that's what they need. They need somebody like that,
Yeah, he's gonna be out.
and and and
Oh, he's gonna be out for up to 2 months. Wow.
and then you bring Hart. If you bring Hart off the bench, he can play any of the three positions.
I agree. You need a four that's someone to play the four on a more regular basis.
or
I
or
want Hart.
a scoring center. Somebody's going to give you 12, 13, maybe 15 points a game, right? And let
And
Towns play the four.
as much as you've been on this year. I gotta hold you to one thing that you was saying all last year about your boy across the river. Because he's been stinking up the joint after he signed that $100 million check.
What's that? What's his name? The
Claxton. Hmm.
yeah, he hasn't lived up to what I said he was. No,
But you've been on point for a whole bunch of other stuff, so I can't chew you out. But
he
that one,
he's he's not doing that well. No. Him and Ben Simmons are both of them need to work a little
Mhm.
bit on their
They,
game a little bit.
they stole that money, boy. Woof.
But then too,
Mm.
sometimes a change of scenery.
Yeah, don't give me that. Don't give me that.
I mean, it's possible. I
Don't
mean,
give
he
me
looks
that.
he looks terrible. He really does. But maybe a change of scenery would do him some good.
Don't give me that.
Bring him in and put him at the four
Mhm.
and put and
Wow.
then
No,
and
no,
and,
no, 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 no,
and
no.
let Towns play the five.
No, 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 no. We ain't going that route. We ain't going that route. I'm sorry I even brought it up for you even
No,
to have
no,
extra dialogue on it.
no. He actually wasn't. He actually has not been doing well at all.
Mhm.
Not,
Mhm.
not at all.
But this week was like I see. I said 3-1, but likely it's going to be 2-2, but not the 2-2 the way that I thought they were going to do. But I'm not too thrilled about that. But here's the interesting part about this these past 20 games. You know, I've been on point for both 20 game stretches through my predictions.
Well, you want a cigar?
Now I want two.
big, big deal. So you've
I
been
want,
right. So
I,
what?
I,
I'm still not happy.
I got a gloat, bro. I got a gloat. I got a gloat. Here you go. Excuse my penmanship, but
You actually write this stuff down?
I actually write this stuff down. Said they were going to be 12-8, 14-6. But so here's the interesting part about it. So before at the end of the 20 game stretch, first 20 game stretch, I kind of felt they were going to be very inconsistent in the next 20 games. And they ended inconsistent, but they played out very well during the first portion of it. But as I was going through the week scenarios and just watching them play, I came where this was going to end up 14-6 this month. And boom, 14-6. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Don't hate me too much, big baby. Don't hate me too much. Finally made your head scratch your head.
I mean, I just don't. I mean, I don't see the point. You know. So you were right, and they play
I
and
want a
and,
cookie, man. Give me my cookie.
and they playing poorly.
Give me my cookie.
And and now something else you were right about,
Hmm.
and I've been defending him from the very beginning when he got here, even before he won the Coach of the Year
Hmm.
2 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, I was defending him, but
Hmm.
I have to stop defending him, and I gotta be honest. He has to Tibbs. I mean,
Hmm.
he has to stop playing these guys so many minutes. These back to backs. Like now tomorrow, got
Hmm.
a game tomorrow,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Mhm.
Are you
And
are
that,
you
that's a,
gonna
that's,
are you
that's a
gonna
tough team. It's a tough team too.
Detroit,
Yeah, it's a tough team.
a fast team?
Hmm.
Are you
And
going?
and and Detroit beat them last time in the Garden too. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So are you going to play your starters, run them in the ground? So in the fourth, so score be 65-65 going into the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden you turn around, now it's 95-65 Detroit because the Knicks run out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you need to play your bench, and don't give me this garbage about, you know, this one's not ready, that one's not ready. If they're in the NBA, they should be able to play.
Get them ready. How about that? Get them ready.
Well,
Get
come
them
on,
ready.
man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I- and makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every time you call timeout, half the team is walking around,
Mm-hmm.
patting each other on the butt and patting each
Mm-hmm.
other on the shoulder and
Mm-hmm.
chest bumping and all that, and then they go sit down and play tic tac toe while the rest of the team is dying out there. They sitting on the bench playing checkers. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
man.
It sure ain't chess they playing on the side because
I mean, come
they'll
on.
figure something out.
Right? So I'm saying, stop it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like they got this kid Hapote, or how do you say it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying his name
Huck
correctly.
party. Yeah, huck party. Mm-hmm.
Um, Come on, man,
Mm-hmm.
play him. Even 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
is enough just to get somebody a breather.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that part I don't get, man.
Yeah.
That part I don't get. I think Tibbs is a good coach, but I think in that one area, he really has to stop. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you see, and I I try to figure out his substitution. I can't figure out his substitution for the life of me. I don't understand it.
You know what the substitution is. Full stream ahead.
Well, see, this is why I say they need a third scorer,
Mm-hmm.
because his logic in this case, his logic is correct. He's saying, for offensive purposes, I want Brunson on the floor or Towns on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take out Towns and I'll put in Achua, and Brunson's on the floor, and Brunson will be the one
Mm-hmm.
that's going to have to take up the brunt of the scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when Brunson goes out, I bring in the backup point guard. I forgot his name now.
Yeah. Pain. Lieutenant
Payne. I bring
Pain.
in
Mm-hmm.
Payne. Take
Mm-hmm.
Achua out. Put Towns in. Now Towns takes up the brunt of the scoring.
Mm-hmm.
So I always got my scorer in there. But it becomes easy to defend when people can look at your substitutions and tell that you're putting
Mm-hmm.
in your one scorer. Your second scorer is on the bench, whether it's Brunson or Towns. It's not that easy for an NBA coach to figure out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
oh, Towns is in there, and nobody else is going to be scoring on a
Mm-hmm.
regular basis, right?
Ramp it up. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had that third scorer, right? If you had someone who consistently, now, yeah, sometimes Bridges is gonna be able to score 12, 15, 20 points.
Yeah.
But most of the time he's not.
Yeah, but how they use Bridges is the key for me. I think if it's going to be a scenario where he can be that third scorer, if he's that, if they change up his minutes to where, let's just say the first 8 minutes of the first quarter, he's in the game, he comes out for those last 4 minutes, and then starts the second quarter with the second team, and he's the lead guard to lead and direct the offense at that time, like he did in the Spurs game, where he was the lead scorer at that point in time. That style still works because he can do that. But I haven't seen them deploy that in any of these, especially in his last four stretch. You
Because
know,
most of the time, if he's in there, he is going to be in there with Brunson
Uh,
or
That's my point.
Towns,
That's my point.
and that's going to make them
Mm-hmm.
not use him like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's my.
he is
Mm-hmm.
so he's more of a,
Mm-hmm. It's a
when
decoy. Mm-hmm.
when the play breaks down,
Mm-hmm.
give it to him and for his quick jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, he's not a great shooter.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
if he takes 10 shots,
Mm-hmm.
six gonna go in, five
Mm-hmm.
maybe. But generally, he's not that shut down. You know, like
Knockdown shooter.
knockdown. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That knockdown shooter, like what's it called? What's it called is the young man who with the red hair, the Italian kid
Oh,
that
DiVincenzo. Mm-hmm.
DiVincenzo. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, but you can see when if if you double Brunson, the guy at DiVincenzo, most of the time that shot was going to go in,
Mm-hmm.
or at the very least he was a bigger threat. You couldn't double
Mm-hmm.
because you were afraid that he would get it to him,
Mm-hmm.
right? They need a third scorer.
Mm-hmm.
They need a third. They need a third. Now I'm telling you, if they had a starting five of Brunson, Bridges, OG, a a third scorer, and I don't know who, but let's just say for argument's sake, I just somebody.
Don't say that name.
What?
do
No,
not, do not say that.
Claxton. No, 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 no. Just let's just say for argument's sake, they had somebody like Jimmy Butler, somebody like that.
Mm.
I'm
Okay, I
not
get you.
saying
I get your
him,
point. I get your point. Mm-hmm.
and then Towns. Okay, now you got a squad where you got to worry about two
Mm-hmm.
guys. Every time you on the floor, something you got to worry about three. At the very
Mm-hmm.
least, you got to worry about two, and then that makes Bridges and OG even more of a threat because now you can't double.
Mm-hmm.
You, if you double two guys, right, that means two guys are going to be open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, it's math, man.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just right now that person's not here.
Yeah, well, that's
So
true.
so what we have, how we make the sausage is something of a is something that's not looking pretty right now. Because I think they could better utilize their resources on the court at this stage. And
They
one of those things
can't.
is,
They can't. They can't because they don't have enough consistency.
uh, well, you gain consistency. One of the things that made Bridges effective in his number one role in the other team that he was on was he had the ball in his hand. That opportunity
It's not
exists.
going to happen now.
Listen, Linda, listen.
But I listen, but you say the dumbest things.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
not
And now,
gonna.
that's the first time you said this season I'm saying the dumbest things. And now, I'm kind of miss it because it just shows how stupid you are.
He, he's not gonna have a ball in his hand
You're not
and
listening to
play
what
like
I'm
Brunson.
saying. That's my point. They have to utilize him differently. Allow him to play with the second team with Brunson on the bench.
They,
That's what
they
I'm saying.
if
I know
you
that's not going to happen, but that's a
if you
way
look
to utilize him.
if you look at the second team, they always put a starter in with the second team. There's always going to be either Brunson or Towns. They want to have that offensive player on on the floor. If you look at the second team, right, for a couple of seconds, he'll go without both. But usually it's Ochoa, Brunson, or Payne, Towns. Look at it. Look at it.
Again, you are making my point. I said
I,
they're
I would never
utilizing
I would never make your point.
they're utilizing what they have in a way that's not effective.
It 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 can't they can't do any other
Don't tell
way
me they
because
can't until
if
you try it.
Nobody's gonna try your dumb way.
Well, I understand. That's why I'm on the sidelines, and that's why they're on the court. However, in my world, that's what they should do.
But
That's all that
let
matters.
that feature Bridges.
Yes, yes.
And so what's Brunson gonna be doing?
When he's
Tiddlywinks.
taking when he's taking a rest on the first six minutes of the
And so
second
what's
quarter,
Town
that's a
also
window.
or
That's a
so all right.
window.
So have Towns and Brunson on the bench together.
Now, I didn't say that I want to have them both on the bench. I said
All right, so
Brunson
then
on the
all
bench.
right, so then Brunson's on the bench and Towns is on the floor, and then Bridges is gonna be the one that
Hmm.
you're gonna feature.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
For that 6 minutes window,
This
you have an
this
opportunity.
I really believe are those headphones tight or something? What's going on?
Okay, okay.
You are
You
you
can you
say
can
the
poo-poo all you
you
want
say the
about my
dumbest thing.
about my
Unbelievable.
alternative solution to how they are playing today and how to best utilize that skill set. We will see how they can continue on.
How do you figure if you got
You
a
just talked about
it,
overutilizing the players.
no,
Here's a way to which to do so.
yeah, but he's still on the floor, Knuckle.
No, you didn't hear a word that I said.
You
The
said
point, no, no, no. Listen to what I said. The very first time I said it, I said at the 8 minute mark, sit him in the first quarter.
you did
Have
say
him
that. I
come in
heard that.
to start the second quarter and have that first 6 minutes of that second quarter to utilize him at that. And that's that window is what you have. Because you're going to play
Okay,
Brunson during the first half of the first
okay. So
quarter.
what? And so where's Towns at?
Towns can be on the floor between that mix, between that 10-minute window. He could be on the floor and off the
On the
floor.
floor, just running up and down and just rebounding, passing the ball, and
Again, those windows open up the same way that Brunson is being used as the lead person, utilizing the pick and roll with Cat on the floor. The same thing can be done just as he was effective in the San Antonio game with a very bigger man trying to stop him. So all I'm saying is there's a way to utilize his skill set in a way that's not being done today. That's all I'm saying. They're not doing that.
if you remember during that San Antonio game, Towns was on the floor, right?
Did not just
And
say that.
let me finish. And
Hmm.
Towns also not only did he have a pretty high scoring game, but he had a high assist game, right? Because they were doubling him, right? Or trapping off of him, right? And so and Bridges happened to be able to hit those shots. Bridges is not going to be the hit. Bridges is not going to
Well,
be able to hit shots like that consistently.
we don't know that.
I do know that
We don't know that. He just did that last year and the year before that on the team across
because
the
he
river.
had nobody else on the team.
He would still have to go up against defenses that was geared towards stopping him, and he was still effective, shooting over 50%. So please don't tell me what he can't do when he just proved it as a number one on another team.
If
I'm just saying that
you got
skill
to
set for that
understand
window
something,
is
Trevor,
there.
you got to understand something.
What do I need to understand, my friend?
If you take 100 shots and you hit 50 of them, you have shot 50%.
Really? I did not know
Okay.
that. I did not know
Okay.
that. That is some serious math
So
that I
so
need to go
if
back to school for.
so all right, if his shots increase, right? Okay, so he gets 50 shots that go in. Big deal when if you if you you cut down his shots, right? Because you are giving the ball to other better players, right? He's not going to be as effective because he doesn't he has to be one of these guys that has a shooting rhythm, right? You can't get him in rhythm like that because you have to have the ball in Brunson's hand or Towns' hand. He's not going to be able to get in rhythm like that, right? So throw those 100 shots out the window because he's not going to get that many shots with the Knicks the way he got with the Nets. Yeah, with the Nets he took 2 million shots. Of course he's going to come with 30 points and 40 points and 27 points. Of course, because he took in so many shots. Yeah, but if you taking 6, 7, how many shots did he take today? I bet he took maybe 12 shots today.
Less than 10. I think it was less than 10 today.
Exactly. Hey, I mean, give me a break. Now, if you take 10 shots and you hit 4 or 5 of them, all right, you want them with 8, 9 points. Okay. If you take 37 shots and you hit 15 of them, you look like you scored a lot of points, but you took a lot of shots.
We are arguing two different points because nowhere am I saying for him to be the lead person with Brunson on the court.
Or how about
That that,
Towns?
that was if Towns is on the court, just as he was in that game against San Antonio, he was leading the scoring and leading the point at that time. He was the one on the pick and rolls that was set up and making those decisions at that point during that game.
Because
So
he
it
happened to,
uh, doesn't matter whether he happened or not. The skill set is there. Utilize it. That's all I'm saying. In a certain window in a portion of the game, you can actually do that. I'm
the
not saying
skill
the whole
set,
game.
the skill set is there, but it's not consistent. And it's not going to be consistent. You know, you think you think because you do something on a regular, that's gonna make you consistent. No, you know what's gonna happen? It's just like in baseball, right? In baseball, you take a guy, right? And let's say what's his Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge plays right field or center field, whatever, right? And then and he's really good. And then he gets hurt. So then you put in Pete Jones. So Pete Jones goes in there and he plays good for about 10, 15 games. And then you start to see he gets exposed, right? He doesn't hit that well. He doesn't throw to the cutoff man. He doesn't break correctly for the fly balls. Everything that he was doing right for the first 15 or 20 games, after he plays for a long enough time, the fact that he's not that good gets exposed. That's why he's a bench player. That's why he's good to come in and you know, play 1 game or 2 games a week, and that's fine. But you play him enough, and you start to see, oh, really? That's why we need Aaron Judge, because this guy is not that good. The same thing's gonna happen with Bridges. If you have a situation where you are utilizing Bridges and you featuring him on a consistent basis, you're going to discover that he's not as good as he looked on the Nets, because he has a different group of people around him and he's being exposed here with the Knicks. That's the difference. He's not the type of player that's going to score 30 points every night. Some nights you're going to have 9, some nights you're going to have 29. That's that's the problem with someone like him.
Okay,
I schooled you,
okay.
didn't
What you just did was show that you didn't listen to a word that I said.
I? You're probably right about that.
I am 100% convinced you did not hear a word I said. But we'll
I
leave it there. We
I
will
heard
leave
you.
it there.
I heard you. I just didn't listen to you.
Well, that is true. That is true. Because the
You,
listening
you,
implies that your response will be in reference to what I just said. So
you,
you just can prove me right.
because you say the dumbest things.
I'll leave it at that, bro. I'll leave it at that.
Why you want to leave it at that?
I'll leave it at that because I'm not gonna go back and forth on we fight two different arguments. 'Cause what I'm saying is not what you're talking about.
All right, say it one more time.
Not, there's no need, no need, no need. You just called Bridges a scrub. Basically, what you said.
No,
You
no,
did.
no,
You
no,
said
no.
he's not that good. You said he's not that
He's
good.
not as good as he looks on,
What's the difference? What's the difference?
because that don't mean you're a scrub.
You're
No,
right. In your book, it defines it
no,
as a
that don't mean
scrub.
you're a scrub. No, no, that don't mean you're a scrub. That means
So you've evolved in your scrubism.
that doesn't mean you're a scrub. All that means is that you're not as good. You're not as good as you look because of the circumstances you were in before. That's all that means.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that doesn't mean you're a scrub.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. We'll leave it right there. We'll leave it right there.
Oh, I mean, you
We'll leave it right there. Because no, what's gonna
wasn't
happen? What's gonna happen is what's gonna happen on the court is what's gonna dictate or tell where this team truly is.
if they get themselves a third scorer, right, and you move Hart to the bench, right, and you bring Hart off the bench, you let Hart come in and play the two or the three or even sometimes the four, right, which he plays all of them quite well, by the way.
Hmm.
If
Hmm. He does.
if you bring in yourselves a scorer again, not this individual, but somebody like Jimmy Butler, who's going to score 19, 20 points on a regular basis, right? If you have somebody like that, or if you go out and you get yourself a good defensive center who can score 12, 13 points a game, right, and move Towns to the four, and Hawk come off the bench, then you're going to see that Bridges will look better because you're not featuring him. He will become your fourth option, and as a third or fourth option, well, not even a third option, but as a fourth option, right? He's great. But as someone that if you're gonna have him be a featured person along with Brunson or along with Towns, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Okay. Well, yep. So let it be written. So let it be said.
But I don't think he's a scrub, because if if I thought it was a scrub, then I wouldn't have been excited about the trade that they made that
Hmm.
year. I wanted the trade.
Hmm.
I when I heard that they were getting him, I was
Hmm.
happy because defensively, great. Now I did not want to get rid of the. I can't say this kid's name, DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo.
I didn't
Hmm.
want to get rid of him.
Hmm.
I wanted him to come off the bench. But now that we've gotten Towns, and Towns have been playing tremendous basketball, right? I can't say, you know, I'm sorry that we made that trade.
Hmm.
I'm not.
Hmm.
Although I still do miss the young man,
Hmm.
you know, but I do not regret making that trade because Towns have been unbelievable.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
You know, um, right now I think Towns may be the best center in the East.
Yeah, it's like that's a given. There's nobody else.
Well, Kit in Cleveland is good too.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, he
We'll
is.
leave it. We'll leave it there.
I mean, why you want to leave every time I make a point where I'm right, you want to leave it there?
No, you make a point that's ridiculous.
You don't think that Kit in Cleveland is good?
Not better than Cat. You
I didn't.
crazy?
I didn't say it was better. I
You
said
just
what?
said.
No,
You said
no.
maybe. You said maybe. I said that's the foregone
I
conclusion.
and
Then you said,
and
no, that guy in Cleveland.
I
No, there is
no.
nothing.
I said, well, the kid in Cleveland is good
The
too.
same thing.
No, it's not. I'm not saying he's better, but I'm saying you can't take it from him that he's good also.
I think you forgetting what you just be saying.
No, 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 because you try to twist what I
I'm
said.
not trying to twist
All I
anything.
said was, well, the kid in Cleveland is good too. That's all I said. Now I didn't say he
But
was better or
good.
worse.
And
I'm
we said
not
Towns is playing for that. Best.
you
You said good.
I said Towns is the best center. I said right now Towns is probably the best center in the East.
Hmm.
And you said that's a given. And then I
Hmm.
said, well,
That's the point right there.
the kid in Cleveland is good too. That's all I said. Now that doesn't imply that he's better. You inferred
Oh
that
my
I'm
goodness.
saying he's better.
So now you're playing on the lines right now. So
I'm
you
just
you
telling you,
skipping
bro.
around the lines.
I'm just telling you.
No, we good. We good. We
The
good.
kid in Cleveland is good too, though.
He's playing very well. That
Yeah.
whole team is playing very well.
Which
You know,
which
that, that I watched the game the other night against the Thunder, and I'm like, they
they
played
they
very well.
they they took it to the Thunder, didn't they?
They played very well. They played like they knew how to how to play together while still allowing their
Yeah,
core players to get there is what they needed, and that's something we're learning to do. You know.
yeah.
Hmm.
And they have three scorers.
Yeah, they really they got some guys. They got
They
some
got more than
guys.
three scorers.
Yeah, they got some guys. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, there's still half the season is still left to go. You know.
I just
But
I just wonder will they run out of gas?
highly possible. It's highly possible. You
I
know,
I
if
I wonder about that. But other
because
than that,
their 40 plus minutes a game is a tough 40 plus minutes a
yes,
game.
it
It's
is.
not, they just want to. It's very pressurized.
They ain't
Mm,
playing tiddlywinks.
no, they it's a tough 40 minutes, which is a different.
And
Hmm.
not only is it a tough 40 minutes,
Hmm.
it's a fast moving 40 minutes. They run it
Hmm.
up and down that floor
Hmm.
like
Hmm. Hmm.
churn,
Hmm.
churn. You
Hmm.
know, when they sit down, like Walt Frazier says, ain't nobody complaining about coming out of this game.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. So let's look at the next week. So we got the week of the 13th. They got 3 games this week. The good part is they have a lot of games at home for the rest of this month, really. Um, yeah, their only away games out of New York is against Philadelphia for the rest of the month. So they should be able to get some nice, good home cooking, and hopefully that results in materializes into wins on the court. So we'll see how that plays out. But either way, they got 3 games this week. Tough games. All three are tough. Home against Detroit, away against Philly, and home against Minnesota. So that's Monday against Detroit. I still say that's a win. The away game against Philadelphia, I still feel that's a win. And that game against Minnesota is going to be crazy.
They're gonna lose that game.
I can see them losing that game,
2-1.
2-1. Hmm.
I can see that
Hmm.
because the Minnesota game is in Minnesota, right?
No, it's at home. It's at home.
Is at home?
Yeah, it's at home. I can see that can be a kind of crazy game, primarily because of the switch. I think Randall's still going to be doing Randall crazy things, but I think Edwards, what's his name, Anthony Edwards, is going to play differently than he did against the last time they played against the Knicks. And he's not going to allow himself to be taken out of the game. That's going to be a little bit different. So that's where I see the change coming into play. And if we don't
Well,
counter that very well,
here's here's why I think that they may lose
hmm
is because the two previous games are going to be games where they're going to have to work hard. They and Tibbs is going to run them in the ground,
okay,
and you you playing those two difficult teams, and then you play a good team and you're
hmm
tired.
hmm and, and to add to that, part of that good team, I can also see Dante going crazy in that game.
I don't think so.
I can see Dante going crazy in that game.
He didn't last time.
This is at the Garden.
Okay. That you may be right about that. That will be the first time you've been right this year. So that I'll give you that.
uh,
You may be right about that.
what have you done for me lately? Oh, I may have to pay for copyright on that one.
You look like you look a little bit like Janet Jackson.
Oh no. I'll leave that alone. Yeah, man. So yeah, I say 2-1. We should be good this week.
So you said
And
that's Detroit. Who else?
Detroit, home against Detroit
And
tomorrow.
Philly, and then
It's gonna be a
Philly,
tough game. It's gonna be a tough game, but I think they can pull it out. They
Philly.
need, and then they go away to Philly on Wednesday, and then they home again on Friday, and 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 then they have 2 days off after that. They play on Martin Luther King
And that's
Day.
another thing.
Mhm.
Before we go, I want to say something else too. This guy kills me, man. When he have days off, he have these long practices.
They haven't been practicing as much, but when they do practice long. Yes, I would agree.
I mean, come on, dude.
Hmm.
trying to kill these kids.
Hmm.
And then he says, well, they want to play. They don't want to play like that. They want to play 35, 36 minutes a game and win,
Hmm.
as opposed to playing 43 minutes a game and lose.
Hmm. 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 It's been a lot of that. A lot of that.
Anyway,
Stressing themselves out like that.
I'm gonna leave that alone because
Don't be using my words. Can you trying to be like me? Either way, we still shining, big boy. We good. It's about to sign off. Another great week by the Knicks. 2-2. Not great in the sense, but great in the sense that they didn't go 1-3. That's that.
yeah, that wouldn't be too nice.
That would not have been nice. So let's leave it there. Harlem MSG signing off.